Ladies and gentlemen, today, I want to tell you something simple, yet deeply powerful. Something we all experience but rarely understand. There comes a moment in life when one person begins to quietly settle inside your mind. Not because you choose it, and not because you plan it, but because the heart recognizes what the mind cannot explain. This is not just a story, it is a reminder and truth about human connection. Let me take you into the life of a young man named Zion, a simple, quiet soul, living in a busy city. He had no time for emotional storms. His life was structured, disciplined, predictable, until the day he met a girl named Ella. Someone.com. Soft-spoken and unexpectedly peaceful. Zayn didn't fall in love instantly. It wasn't dramatic, it was subtle. A gentle shift inside him, a tiny spark that silently stayed. Days turned into weeks, and something strange happened. Zion found himself thinking about Ayla again and again, while driving, while eating, while walking, while doing absolutely nothing. His thoughts returned to her like the tide returns to the shore. It became a habit, a routine, a quiet pull he couldn't resist. But here's where the real truth begins. When you think about someone with sincerity, when your heart carries them gently, when your mind remembers them without trying, something begins to happen to that person too. The first thing that happens is this. Ayla didn't know why she felt calm whenever Zion entered a room. She felt a shift in unexplainable sense of familiarity. Even before she saw him, she sensed his presence. Because thoughts create energy, and sincere thoughts always travel. The second thing that happens is, Ayla didn't realize it, but she had begun observing Zion in small, quiet ways. The way he fixed his sleeves, the way he smiled politely, the way he stayed calm. Under pressure, she wasn't trying to notice him. Her heart was simply responding to his. And the third thing that happens is the deepest. When Zion felt stressed, Ayla felt uneasy. When he was happy, she felt lighter. It didn't make sense logically, but emotionally, it made perfect sense. Human hearts connect long before words do. One rainy night, when Zion was quietly breaking inside, Ayla walked up to him and asked softly, "Are you okay?" She didn't know why she felt his pain, she just did. And that night, as they talked, Ayla finally said the truth. Neither of them understood fully. Sometimes it feels like you're around me, even when you're not. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the power of sincere thoughts. This is the truth behind silent connection. When someone becomes a habit in your mind, they begin to feel it in their heart. So if you find yourself thinking about someone again and again, remember, it is not random. It is not meaningless. It is a sign that your heart is speaking, and the other heart is quietly listening. Because no thought is ever wasted, and no sincere connection is ever one-sided. Ladies and gentlemen, today, I want to take you into a part of human psychology that almost everyone experiences, yet very few truly understand. It is the phenomenon of thinking about someone so often that they begin to feel, sense, and respond to your silent emotions even without a single word being spoken. We all have moments when a particular person quietly settles into our thoughts, not forcefully, not intentionally, but naturally, as if the heart knows something the mind has not yet explained. Science, psychology, and even emotional intelligence agree on one thing. The mind never repeats a thought without reason. And when a person becomes your constant thought, something begins happening on both sides. Let's break down this experience into 3 key truths. Truths that are universal, relatable, and proven in human behavior. Every thought you produce carries a certain energy. This is not poetry, it is neuroscience. The human brain emits electrical signals that influence mood, perception, and behavior. When you think deeply and repeatedly about someone, you are sending out emotional frequency toward them. Whether they realize it or not, they begin to feel a shift around you, a sense of calmness, a spark of curiosity, or sometimes a strange familiarity. This is why someone suddenly turns around when you were thinking about them, why they feel at ease in your presence, why they sense something special without knowing why. Your thoughts are not silent, they are signals. The second truth is subtle but powerful. When you think about a person constantly, your subconscious mind starts observing them more, their habits, their voice, the way they walk, the way they react, even the smallest details. But here's the interesting part. When your subconscious is focused on someone, their subconscious begins responding to you as well. This is called mirroring psychology. That happens without planning and without awareness. They start noticing you in ways they didn't before. They pick up your mood. They catch your expressions. They sense when something is wrong. It's not attraction, it's subconscious recognition. Your repeated thoughts create a silent bond. The third truth is the deepest. Human hearts synchronize much faster than human minds. When you carry someone in your thoughts for long enough, your emotional rhythm begins syncing with theirs. This is why you feel uneasy when they are stressed, you feel lighter when they are happy. You can sense when something is wrong, they can sense your presence even in silence. Emotional synchronization is one of the strongest forms of human connection. It happens before love, before friendship, before any spoken relationship. That happens in the heart. The takeaway: so, what does all this mean? It means that if it becomes your habit to think about a person, it is not random. It is not meaningless. It is not coincidence. It is not coincidence. It is your mind recognizing a connection. It is your heart communicating silently. It is their heart responding, even if neither of you understand it. Yet, thinking about someone repeatedly is a sign that your emotions are aligned, your energy is connected, and your hearts are quietly speaking the same language. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just feeling. This is human psychology. This is emotional science, and this is the quiet truth of human connection. Ladies and gentlemen, in the world of human relationships, not all connections are loud. Not all bonds are declared. Some relationships begin quietly with a single thought, a repeated memory, a silent pull that grows stronger day by day. Today, I want to speak about the psychology of silent attachment. How thinking about someone repeatedly doesn't just influence your emotions, but also begins to affect theirs. We often hear people say, "I don't know why I keep thinking about this person," or, "Why do I feel connected to someone I hardly speak to?" The answer lies deep within the science of human emotion and subconscious communication. The human brain is designed to strengthen whatever you repeat, whether it's an action, a word, or a thought. When your mind repeatedly returns to a person, you're not just thinking about them, you're creating a neurological pathway that links your emotions with their presence. And here's the extraordinary truth: the brain doesn't differentiate between physical presence and mental presence. To your emotions, that person becomes real, even if they're not standing next to you. This is why people feel connected to someone they barely meet, because the connection is happening in the mind first, long before it happens in reality. Humans have what psychologists call empathic resonance, the ability to reflect the emotional state of another person, even without being told anything. When you think about someone deeply, your emotions begin to shape themselves around their energy, and surprisingly, they begin to feel it too. They may not understand why they feel calm around you, why your presence brings comfort, why they sense your sadness, why they suddenly notice you more, but their subconscious mind picks up your emotional frequency. This is not fantasy. This is emotional science. This is how human empathy works. We often believe communication happens through words, but in reality, the strongest communication happens silently. When you think about someone with consistency and sincerity, your behavior toward them begins to change. Your tone softens. Your eyes become gentler. Your presence becomes familiar. Your energy becomes recognizable. And even if you never say a word, the other person begins to read you, your emotions, your mood, your quiet attention. This invisible communication is what forms the foundation of deep emotional bonds. Without messages, without phone calls, without confessions, just silence and sincerity. One of the most powerful truths in psychology is this: the heart knows before the mind realizes. This is why a person can sense your emotions even if you hide them. This is why someone feels uneasy when you're hurting. This is why they sense your presence before seeing you. Because emotions travel faster than logic, signals travel faster than words, feelings travel faster than understanding. When someone becomes a part of your emotional system, they begin to feel your inner world even if you've never shared it with them. Ladies and gentlemen, there are people who walk into our lives quietly, maybe for a moment, maybe for a day, or maybe through a small conversation, but somehow they leave footprints deeper than those who stay for years. Today, I want to speak about why certain people stay in our hearts, even when they're not in our hands. This is not destiny. This is not magic. This is the psychology of emotional imprint. The reason one person becomes unforgettable. Most people don't realize this, but the subconscious mind decides emotional attachment 4 times faster than the conscious mind. That means your heart chooses some why and bore. Your brain even understands why. This is why you feel drawn to someone you barely know. You trust someone without explanation. You care about someone unexpectedly. You think about a person without wanting to.